G'day guys, Crypto Trader Vader here. Got another trading journal where I go through the 35 or so coins on Poloniex and analyze each of them with some technical analysis. If you want to jump to your particular coin of interest, I've just got a bar on the left hand side, and as I approach each coin I turn them green in the sheet, so you can scrub through the video and find your favorite coin if you want to skip to that. Otherwise, I'm going to do them all, and let's just start by having a look at the Bitcoin market. Of course, over the last probably 4 to 6 weeks or so, a lot of altcoins have been on a downward tear along with Bitcoin, and you know, it's been on this big bear run. This is, of course, we're looking at the Bitcoin chart at the moment. You know, it's continued to keep on going down, and of course we've had these points here where we've seen these possible bottom formations where we thought maybe it's over. We had another one here. And of course now we're starting to see another possible bottom formation in Bitcoin. Of course, time will tell. My personal thought is that it may not have reached the bottom yet. Of course, I don't know, and I'm wrong many times, but I have a feeling as though it can continue in a downward trend, possibly longer. That said, you know, it's also showing a lot of signs of strength at the moment. There's some good news. There's this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation in Bitcoin itself. 1, 2, 3, and it's starting to pass and creep higher. If it continues to break these previous trend lines at these sort of levels here, and this one, of course, we're going to be seeing Bitcoin turn around and continue its bull run. However, it may very well, and what I think is probably going to happen, it's going to slow down its growth and start to creep in a downward direction, and then a little S shape, and then continue upwards from there. Time will tell. That said, let's have a look at all of the altcoins. If, by the way, there's an altcoin that you want me to check out that's not on the list, then hit me up, and I'll hit me up in the chat. I've got the live chat on, and leave a comment underneath. If I'm not doing it live when you're watching this, pop a comment underneath, and I'll do it next video. Let's start with Ardor. We're in the 4-hour chart, by the way, and Ardor has reached a real big fat bottom here. Let's go back to where it was previously. Right around the same level, it had this big support line. Of course, it's not the lowest it's been, and it could very well continue lower. Seems to be struggling to lift off, doesn't it? Last week I said that it's going to remain bearish. I'm tempted to stick along those same grounds. I don't see any... I mean, there's a slight 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, but really it's struggling to go higher. This 1, 2, 3... Let me get out the... this one here is my favorite. 1. Let's make that a favorite so I can just jump on it over here. 2. And then you've got a 3 where it's kind of failing to come back down to this lower level, and if it does pass this 2 market around 5,100 sats, it could potentially be turning around, but it's a little bit soon to say, and my guess is that it'll probably continue in a bearish trend for the time being anyway. A lot of these drops in altcoins means that there's definitely an opportunity presented to traders now to catch these bottom formations as they arrive. Here we have Bitcoin Cash now. Looking at the 4-hour chart, and again we've had a new bottom forming on this one. It didn't retain the last bottom, so it's probably going to be, well, we're going to have to basically wait and see what happens to it. It could be going sideways for a little bit. If it comes up here and, you know, forms a little trough and then bounces off that, that would be our 1, 2, 3, and we might want to jump on this one, but for the time being we can't make a call on that. It looks more like a 1, 2, 3 top. setup formation, and it looks like it's heading in a bearish trend, even though it's pumping at the moment. For it to go on a no, I don't see this going on a bull run, so I'm going to pop down here bearish for the near future. I hope that's not the case for a lot of these altcoins, because as I said before, the downward trend that we're seeing now is this is what I said last week. If less than 0.14, it'll go to 0.18, and that was when I said that. It was the 1st of Feb, which was right about here. It was hovering right on the 0.14, and it did breach beneath that. And look here, it did hit 0.119. So it didn't quite go as low as 0.110, but it definitely hit my target. Wow. Okay. So yeah, remaining bearish on that one. Anyway, what I was saying is these bearish trends on these altcoins, including Bitcoin, presents a really good opportunity to buy in. So if you're not already invested heavily into altcoins, or maybe you possibly are, you can maybe catch a few of these bottom formations as they arrive in the coming couple of months. Black coin now. We've got this kind of double bottom formation. Really, we need to see the price past this point here in order to mean anything. Last week I said if higher than 4,800 sats, it's going on a bull run, and it did not pass that, so it's went on a bear run. Now it really needs to pass 400k sats, sorry, 4,000 sats rather. Greater than 4,000 equals possible run. Bitcoin shares, or sorry, bit shares rather, not Bitcoin shares. Another situation where we have this new low forming. It's right on the support line. Of course, there's another support line down here. That's a resistance line too. Although that is forming a very, very short 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, I wouldn't be counting on that. It looks like these. Everything else is pointing downwards. We have the even the stock RSI, which you can see here, is like an oscillating indicator that I've got down the bottom. When it's along the top, there's the greater probability that Bitcoin, or sorry, the price rather, is going to be moving in a downward direction. So this is not always accurate, of course. It's just a probability indicator, but it's pretty handy when this syncs up with the EMAs being so far apart, and the fact that there's not a bullish trend here. You can kind of look at bit shares and possibly say that they're likely bearish, which sucks because there's not heaps of opportunities so far. I'm hoping that changes as we go through the rest of these coins. Clams, what did I say last time? Watch. Oh, this is nice. So we have a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here. If we zoom out a little bit, let's have a quick look. So if we call this the 1, we call this the 2 here, we call this the 3 here. What we want to do is we want the price then to go up in this direction, and we want it to pass this point where this line is. So if it can breach this mark, it will likely go over it and bounce on top of it, just like you see it was supported here. So you could probably bump it up a little bit actually. So if it goes past 72k sats, we might be looking for a little bit of a spike on clams. It's surprisingly been relatively unaffected by the craziness of Bitcoin, and you can see there's just a very strong trend upwards in clam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches here, which is another bullish indicator. So it looks like greater than 72k sats equals bull run for this one. Civic, bearish to 4,300 sats is what I said last time. Let's have a look what happens here. That was on February 1st, right around here. And it's reached, oh, it's even gone a lot lower than what I anticipated. So it's gone down to 39 sats and now bounced very strongly off of that. If we zoom in really close, we can see a mini 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and it's broken through here and gone in an upwards direction. There is a strong resistance line here as well. Bounced off it once, twice. It's failed to get back above it here. So if it continues up here and kind of stays above, say 6,000 sats or so, Civic is looking good. I'll even say 58. If it goes above 58 sats, 5,800 sats equals bull run. So we do have some opportunities starting to form with some of these, which is nice. Dash coin. This is the famous oscillating coin. It just goes up and down all over the place. And if you have a look at this trend, strong downward trend here. Now, these big spikes, you see how they're breaking through this trend line. I'll just make this trend line a little thicker so you can see it. So here's the kind of trend line that the prices like to bounce off of, but you can see that it's broken through several times here. And what I think that is I think that when people are selling Dashcoin, they tend to sell a lot of Dashcoin because of the amount of Dash that it takes to hold a masternode. So you're gonna have situations where it's a bit more volatile in a selling market. Yeah, but it's forming this nice channel downwards, which definitely is a bearish signal, and it's touching. Oops. It's touching on the top end of one of those now. So it might be a good opportunity to sell Dashcoin, which I'm tempted to do. I think I'll do that after this. I've got a couple of Dash sitting there, not doing much, and it might be a good opportunity to sell as it reaches the top of this channel here, about 6.9. I'll pop that in my notes here. I'll sell 2 of them. Bearish to, let's just have a quick look at where I reckon it'll land, where I can possibly pick those back up. If we extrapolate this channel down, probably see it bouncing down off of this and probably around kind of this area here, because we also have a line of resistance here where it's, you know, as it's hit this point, it's resisted trying to break through it. So, and it's touched it twice too. I'd say probably I'd be looking at selling at 0.069 and buying back at about 0.059. So I'll pop that here and buy back into a bit more Dash coin. Now I did say last time that I was bearish to about 0.063 and 0.059, and this was on the 1st of February here. 6.3 and 5.9. That was back here. So it did definitely crash, and it did hit 0.059 as well. So this was right before this nice big fat dip. So it came off pretty quickly after I said that, which is awesome because the first ends right here. That's the end of the 1st of Feb. And if you go back and look at that video, that's what I said on that one. And it's come back down. So that's another good call, I think. That's a winner. Of course, I'm wrong a lot as well, so don't listen to my calls. Decred. Been on a nice bullish tear, just hasn't really stopped for a long time. Big trend upwards here. And it's definitely slowing down. It's going, you know, slowing down as it's hitting this resistance mark right here. Interesting that it hasn't, you know, it hasn't formed a higher low with this. It's formed the same low, which tells me that it's pretty undecided on where it's going to be going. This would be one probably to watch, I think. If it says, what did I say last week? 0.0099. If it passes this point, which it didn't pass it, so that's pretty much the same. I'm going to pop that on a watch this week and see what happens. Now bearish, I've been pretty right on for the last few weeks. Bearish to 30 sats over the coming 2 to 3 months. That's what I said back in the end of Jan. Let's have a look at Dogecoin, what happened with that. Definitely a bearish trend. And seems to be getting some support at the moment, which is great for Doge. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. This is a great community. Dogecoin is an awesome coin. But unless it kind of breaks this trend line, looks like it'll probably be going lower again. I said before that it's probably going to hit around 30k sats. Wow. It shot down here, didn't it? That does not give me confidence in the market when you have these giant spikes down like this. Someone's dumping a lot of Dogecoin. It makes you think, why are they dumping it? Well, they probably know that it's not going to be holding its value. Yeah, I'm remaining bearish on that one, just generally, for coming months. I'll just say bearish for coming month, let's say. Ether. Okay, so I was wrong on this one because I said here that it was a bull run until 0.136, and that was on the 1st of Feb around here. Now it did spike up, but it did not hit 0.136 like I thought it would. It hit 1.122. So bad call on my behalf. I'm still actually sadly holding that 0.5 that I bought. I bought it live last time. Still holding that, and it's looking to be possibly turning around and heading back down now. Possibly, but maybe not. Maybe it'll hold on this support line that it's got. If not, if it does break that, we'll probably be seeing 0.082 again. If it breaks beneath, well, let's say this line, 0.095, it's probably heading to 0.082. Less than 0.095, bear to 0.085, 82 rather. Expanse, making good time. Just check this. Hey, 3 people watching. Hello, people. How are ya? Is my audio's coming through okay? I haven't gotten any chats yet, so just send me a chat if it's all coming through well. BTC Expanse. What did I say last week? Expanse bearish to 36k sats. I said that on the 1st of February. That was around... What? Did I say bearish to 36? Oh, I said that on 31st of Jan. I'm saying all these calls, not 1st of Feb. Okay, so back here. And it did hit 36, and it's gone even lower than that. It's hit this nice double bottom down here. However, if we look at the highs as they come through, each time the coin price starts to climb higher, it is lower than the previous time it tried to climb higher. And what that forms is essentially this bearish pennant, or this flag. Looks like a little bit of a flag if you imagine a pole right here. And the flag points downwards. It's a downward pointing flag. So it looks like it's probably bearish, and it's likely going to snap down pretty quickly if it passes 30. If it goes beneath, breaks below 30k sats. I sold at 37k, so it was a good sell. Probably buy some of that back once it bottoms out, because Expanse is a nice coin. Less than 30k, I should say. Thanks, Derek. You're the man. 30k, less than 30k, drop. Bearish run, I'll say. Bearish flop. Flop's a funny word. Okay, Factum. Derek, if there's any coins you want me to check out, brother, let me know. Lower highs forming alongside this, crushing it into this support line. Factum is definitely not looking super great. It's finding some support, so if it does continue up from here, that would be a little 1, 2, 3 mini bottom formation and could possibly be turning around. However, I'm not confident on that one. I'll just say a watch on that. Folding coin. Strong run up, which is nice. Last week I was showing off a bit of a new indicator, or a new tool that I found called the Fibonacci retracement. And what that essentially does is it looks at a big run like this, starting from the bottom of that run and to the top of it. And then it says, well, where will the price land on the way back down on the correction? And you can see that it's so dead on with everywhere that it lands. It's landed on this 0.382. It's landed on the 618 as well, the 0.618. And now, of course, it's headed back down. Now, if we take this around and turn it the opposite direction, and we say, well, here was the previous high, and here was the previous low, you can see that the extrapolations of the Fibonacci retracement go to 0.27, and we can see that the price has landed perfectly on that. It amazes me how this Fibonacci is, how accurate it is constantly. It's definitely a great tool. Derek says Sumo isn't on there. Yeah, no, Sumo's not on here, I don't think. I'll just have a quick look. Oh, it is on here. Check it out. I have now got a new platform that I'm using to check out these coins. I'm not using TradingView anymore. I'm using Coinigy. And it lets me view a lot of different coins. So just quickly, before I finish up on Folding Coin, by the way, I should tick that off. Just before I get onto Folding Coin again, request check out Sumo. Fuck, I love Sumo. It's let's use the Fibonacci retracement and have a look, because you can see that there's this really nice clean bull run up. Started way back down here and has gone all the way up to here. So we saw that it landed on this point here at the point here, 0.078, which is a bit of a weak sign, and that's where it's kind of resting now. It seems to have gained some support, and it seems to have flopped back down to the same level. Might be a good opportunity to buy Sumo if it is a turnaround. However, look at this straight down. You see, every time the coin tries to go higher, it is lower than the previous time that it's tried to go higher. And what we see is we see it getting crushed into this bearish pennant. So if I was holding a lot of Sumo, I've got a handful at the moment, but if I was holding a few significant amount of Sumo that, you know, I'd want to maybe trade with, I would probably look at selling some around this point, 36, 35 K sats, and then looking to buy that back at around this level here, just above this support line. And I know it's not a huge spread, but it means that you'd be able to make a few extra Sumo. Now, of course, if it goes the other way, if you sell now and it goes, you know, ends up going in the other direction, it kind of breaks this trend line and heads upwards. You'd want to be buying back in as a stop loss if it's breaching or staying above kind of this line here, where this fib retracement of, what's the mark? 0.618 mark is. Let's close that. So, just to recap, if I was holding, I would sell here. I would aim to buy back here at around 27 K sats. And if it goes in the other direction and I'm wrong, I would want to buy back in this bracket here as a stop loss at around 40 K sats. If it starts to head in an upward direction, I'd buy back at 40 K sats. So it's worth the risk for me to sell at 30, 36 or thereabouts to increase my bag size, or to make some extra SumoKoin, if you want to think of it that way, by buying back in down there. And the other one was XRP. I'll get to XRP at the end of the because that's in my list. All right, let's go back to folding coin now. So yeah, I was saying about the fib retracement. It's really amazing. I got to look more into Fibonacci because this sequence in nature is quite incredible. What am I clicking here that's going over? Really nice. Look at that. It's even hit the extrapolated 0.27, and if it goes lower, it might even hit the 0.168. I probably don't see that happening though. Seems to have bounced back pretty firmly off of this, but it really needs to break the starting point where it went for this bull run initially, which is around 325 sats. So it needs to be greater than 325. I won't say bull run because I don't think it'll be fast. It might be a turnaround here. Alright, game credits. Similar situation like a lot of altcoins, but look, it's not a guarantee that this is going to be heading in a downwards direction. It's just that's what the overall trend is, and it's important to understand that when we're making trades, because what we need to look for now is a strong bullish formation, and we're not getting that just yet. Although if we take a closer look at the very close end of this, we start to see a 1 2 2 3 bottom formation. I should call that 2. See this? It's very small and subtle, but it's there, and that means that if it starts to breach this 29,000 mark, it could be heading upwards. Now, when we're looking at long-term trend turnarounds like this, we probably want to have the 1 2 3 bottom formation spanning out over a little bit more time. It makes it stronger, whereas having it so condensed like this doesn't lend much credence to it, and means that it could easily be wrong. So watch it carefully, but it possibly is forming that. That would need to break above 29k sats to turn around, and I'll pop that in here. Greater than 29k sats equals bull run. Excuse me. Gnosis. Similar situation like a lot of altcoins we know. It's getting crushed into this bearish pennant and forming 1 2. No, it's not really a 1 2 3 bottom formation. I think I'm going to watch that one. It's not making any interesting formations for me at the moment. GNT, Golem Network Token, big strong bearish trend on this one. I have some GNT, maybe I should start selling it. Similar channel to what we saw in one of those other coins. I forget exactly which one. Maybe it was Civic. Maybe it was Dash. It was Dash. Bearish channel here, so it's kind of trading in between them. It's at the top of the channel now. The RSI is also, if I move this across a little bit, you can see that the stock RSIs are on the top end, which adds, again, not in isolation. You can't look at one of these things and say, okay, it's definitely happening. It's just a probability. You have a couple of these indicators sync up, and you might have something to go on. However, it is very close to this trend line. It's touched it a couple of times. If it breaches through that, it could be heading north. I'm just going to put a watch on it because I can't really quantify that with a number. LBC now. Library credits. Here we go. We zoom right into this, and what do we see? We see a similar 1 2 3. It's broken out of this 1 2 3 bottom formation and a fake out breakout. It's come straight back down again. Yeah, got to put a watch on that. 3 watches in a row. Alright, Lisk, I got to put something down on you, man. Lisk. Wow, that looks nice, doesn't it? It's a relief to see a coin like this. Big, strong support. Higher lows. For once. Although that is quite strong and kind of breaching this, but it has broken back above it. Slight 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Now it's had this huge spike up. That reminds me, I sold some Lisk right up here at around 300k sats around here. So it might be time to get back into it, but I'm not sure just yet. It's definitely getting pumped a lot. What's going to happen with it? I guess if it breaks out of this and kind of stays above it. And when I say breakout, I mean, maybe, 2-3 solid candles to indicate that it's actually staying above that level, about 280 sats. It might be heading higher again. Litecoin now. Wow, it's going all over the place. I do remember what I said about this in previous weeks. I said that it would go down to 14. It did. I'll go back and have a look. Bearish, yeah, 23rd of January. Bearish to 0.14, which it hit and just dipped beneath it. So if you bought back into Litecoin at that level, enjoy your riches. And now, of course, big bull run with Bitcoin. Maybe Satoshi Light bought back in. Strong support here. What am I going to do with Litecoin? I really don't know what to say about it. It's just not trading my usual patterns at all, and I don't really know where it's going to be going. I'm sorry. I'm putting another watch on. Navcoin. Oh no. I'll just have a quick look at Maidsafe. I just want to have a quick look at this because one of the teachers that I learnt from, mentor of mine, Doug from Lumbridge City, he recently bought into Maidcoin, and I can see why. It's a bit of a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here that seems to be taking off through. It would, in my opinion, would need to break out of this 53.05. Need to break out of this box essentially before it, because that's the 1, 2, 3, and it's heading upwards. It's really 5300 that it needs to break above. Good luck, Doug, if with that trade. I hope it pays off. Let's go to Navcoin. Oh, sorry, I'm running a little ahead. Navcoin. Just looking at that really briefly. Big, strong bearish trend. It's gone along this. It's dived a little harder in anticipation of the declines, what the markets do. And so now it seems like it might be recovering, but really when it starts to get closer to this trend line, it's likely going to continue back down. So it might get up to here or something, and then it'll head back down. But I'm generally bearish on that, on Navcoin. Oh, this was for Maidsafe. Sorry. OMG coin. Seems to have broken up above this level. It just doesn't seem to want to turn around. It was a big, heavy, pumped coin back in the day, last year. Big pumped coin. Lots of partnerships and all this chatter about amazing fundamentals. But the technicals don't look as good. Big downward trend, bearish pennant. We've seen it many times in the old markets, and it seems to be getting squeezed right to the point where it's either going to break higher or it's going to break lower. So my guess is that it'll probably go lower, because that's generally the way these go, and that'll be beneath 1. permanent candle beneath like 135 or so. Less than 135k. Let's move on to rep now. Possibly a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Again, very similar to the last 1, 2, 3 bottom formation we saw in one of the other ones. Because it's so condensed, I wouldn't really confidently trade on this. I'd much rather see a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation be a little bit longer in length to indicate that there's some actual strength. So, like, what is this, a paintbrush? No, it's not. Should be a drawing tool somewhere here. This one. No, it's not it. Can't find a pen. Brush. This'll do. So if the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation kind of went like this, right, where instead of the instead of the 2 being so condensed, the 2 was here and the 3 was here, then that would be a more confident 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, because it's taken a little more time and the market is a little bit more certain about the turnaround. Whereas because it's so condensed, I'm not convinced. And it seems to me like this bearish trend possibly could continue until I see more bearish, until proven otherwise. Okay, SumoKoin bearish in the short term is what I said last week. That was back on the 31st of January, back here, and I was certainly correct on that one. Big bear push. Let's make that color nice and bright. I don't like green as the color because let's make it pink. So yeah, we've got big bearish push with SumoKoin. Bearish pennant there as well. Still bearish on that one. Let's move on to Steem. Steem is a coin for the Steemit social network. So there's a platform called Steemit where people post, they blog, and you earn Steem for posting good quality content. And I think it's revolutionary. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I'm gonna start a Steemit blog next week. I'm gonna put up my introductory post. And oops, sorry about that. And hopefully get a couple of followers on there. Not sure what's happening here though. Let's delete this trend line. It's only hit twice. If it starts to turn around, right, because you can see this is a 1, 2, and a 3 of a bottom formation. If it starts to turn around at this point and head back north, that's a good sign. It means that we're back on a bullish run. For that to happen, though, candle would need to remain above 44k sats or so. Greater than 44k sats equals bull. What did I say last week on Steem? Greater than 58k sats equals bull run to 63. Well, that didn't happen. It stayed just beneath 40. Well, it never went above it. It tried to retouch it here, but it didn't get above it. Storage coin now. Seems to have broken this immediate trend down, which is nice. It's a good sign. However, not convinced until it starts to creep above this mark, around 125. If it starts to get above that, then we'll be looking at some money. Sorry, not 125, 12.50. 12.5k. STR, Stellar Lumens. Strong. Surprisingly strong on the Stellar Lumens. Uh-oh, trouble in paradise though. Look at this. You see this one touch, second touch here, and now it's just starting to breach this. So if it starts to head lower, say down to 4,000 sats mark, might be time to get out on that one. Less than 4,000 equals bear. Last week I said bull 275, 90, 100. Now let's have a look at that, because I was definitely wrong on that. 30. I said it right here. I said to 7. Oh shoot, I was very wrong with that. Very wrong. See, I'm very wrong. I'm also right sometimes. Strat. Just drawing up some support lines here. Give us a better indication, better look-see. 1, 2, no. It's not a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation until it starts to turn around. We need to turn around and pass this 91k mark. Greater than 91k, we might have a bull run. But if we don't get above that, we're not going to be getting a bull run. I don't think. Just a quick look at SYScoin. I'm thinking about adding Maidsafe and SYScoin into the usual array and possibly removing a couple of other coins. If you like that idea, let me know. Which coins are your least favorite, so I can possibly look at removing them from the usual journal and start, because I really want to put SYScoin in there. I think Sys is a great coin fundamentally, and I think it's going to win big time. It's right up at this mark. It really needs to breach this. It's probably around 7k. If it can break, I won't write it down, but if SYScoin can break 7k, it'll that'll be nice. That'll be a nice bull run if it breaches that. Alright, let's move on to Altcoin. Big old downward trend now. I sold some Altcoin at 3,800, 38,000 sats, and it's getting some attention now, but it really needs to again turn this around to have this be a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Now if we use the fib retracement on this, we can see where it's staying just above the 0.38, but I'm anticipating that it will probably drop lower. It'll rest against the 0.168, sorry, 0.618 before possibly going lower or deciding where it's going to go next. I'm not, of course, sure on any of this, but that's my feel. Yeah, I said it last week, I'll say it again. Generally bearish on that one. Alrighty, XCP now. Getting down to the final few. Is anyone else watching who wants me to check out a particular coin, let me know. If it's on Coinigy, I'll do my best. So with XCP, we've had this big bearish trend as well. And yeah, it's just hitting newer lows as we go along. It's of course going to encounter resistance at these sort of marks. If it breaks beneath kind of 3, probably this one. Yeah, if it breaks beneath 300k sats, it's probably going down. Probably down to around 240k. So if you're holding XCP, it might be an opportunity there. Of course, don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm doing. XMR. Still continues to have higher lows. Every time the market tries to dump, it goes higher and higher and higher. And just continues to follow this pattern for what, the last... How long ago was that? Back in November. For the last 3 to 4 months, we've had this trend upwards in Monero. It still hasn't reached this all-time high. But every time that it kind of breaks this previous resistance point, it jumps up higher, and then the subsequent low is higher than the previous one. Monero, in my opinion, is a good long-term call. And I'm invested in Monero. Some resistance around the 0.03 mark, and rightly so. It's a big step. It really needs to break that though if it's gonna go on a bull run. XPM. Last week I said I was going to look into the fundamentals of this coin because I didn't know XPM, but I did know it already. It was the Prime coin, which is this coin that with a mining algorithm searches for prime numbers, and prime numbers are used in mathematical research, quite necessary in mathematical research. So I like a coin that where the hashing algorithm is actually useful in some way, whereas Bitcoin hashing SHA-256 is not really. However, this formation here doesn't really look too flash, does it? You could even bust out a more complex head and shoulders thingy here. Wherever this is going to go, who knows? Might make it up to here or so. That might be it. Either way, it'll probably, if it breaks that neckline and heads south of, around 6,000 sats, we'll be seeing a lower prime. Less than what, around 6,000 sats or so equals a bear run. XRP Ripple. I sold some Ripple at 0.14 on the first run up here, and I was so disappointed when it staged and then went higher. But of course, in retrospect, it was probably a good move. It's kind of impossible to pick the top. Once you remove the idea of picking the perfect top, once you remove that as a possibility, then I think you increase your likelihood of making money and trading a lot more, because you realize that if you can't pick it perfectly, you have to find other ways to make money. That's not gambling like that. Wow, big strong support here though, doesn't it? It's got lots of strong support, and it's hitting that support line right now, which tells me could be a good chance to buy and have a stop loss, say set down. I'm gonna make that a favorite as well. Stop loss, say around there or so, just in case it goes lower than 82.83. But it might be a good chance to buy here and catch a little swing trade on the way up. However, long-term wise, this is reaching the same lows, if not newer lows than previous times. So for me, that's not the formation that I usually go for, which is a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. So I'm going to be generally bearish on that one. Sorry, Derek, I know you wanted more positive news, but if I was in that situation, I would watch carefully, and if it's going to be breaking this 82 kind of mark, as in fresh ground, or just having a candle that stays beneath 88 or so. It goes anywhere in this kind of box realm. If the candles stay in that area for 1 or 2 candles, I would be getting out, and then, you know, looking to catch it back here at around 6,000 sats or so. Right, moving on, Zcash. Zcash has been doing really well, surprisingly. Big trend upwards. Generally, I'm just blurring the lines here. It's dipped beneath it, of course, but it's still continued upwards, and now it's kind of broken back up above it. Beware, it's got strong resistance here, so it will need to break strongly above 0.05 to make any moves. That, my dear friends, is the journal for another week. Just check the chat if there's anything else. Gucci. Picked him up on the cheap. Good lad. Yeah, keep them. Keep those Ripple then if you got them pretty cheap, man. I mean, it might be an opportunity to, if it does dip beneath that, keep a close eye on it. Kind of, if it does dip beneath that, you could probably sell some, maybe not all, maybe a portion. And try and do a cheeky short sell where you sell some up here and then buy back either the same amount or less, the same amount or more down here, and then profit the difference. But yeah, that'd be my move. Alright guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Leave a comment, hit subscribe and that thumbs up button so I can get a few more people on this channel, and I'll keep doing these videos. Thank you.